Today we're covering a shop called Boston Lane. It's located here in the courtyard. You can find now Co's. The space is designed by a great man that hopefully we'll get to meet in a future episode. But for today we're covering Boston Lane. This shop, cafe, whatever you want to name it, is a small space that shares it with the Collective, which essentially is a group of shops that sell everything from kitchenware to homeware, fashion items. You can even find shades if you want. Everything here is eco-friendly, vegan, made by hand. You can even find vintage items. It's an absolutely beautiful space. The Collective will be covered in a future episode because that deserves an episode on its own. Even though it's a small space, but it's very cozy, it feels spacious. And their coffee, their food, their menu, from what I tried, is absolutely amazing. We'll get to meet the owner in the interview in a bit. She came all the way from Australia and she has a lot to tell us about the space. Let's check it out. Hi, good morning. Tell us a bit about yourself. Let's start with that.
All right. My name's Ali. I'm Australian. I'm from Melbourne. I moved here about 4 years ago. And I started Boston Lane because my sister's shop is inside the Collective. And that's how I was introduced to the space.
That's nice. So you came to Dubai, 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years, yeah.
Any reason for the move?
Yes, my husband got headhunted over here.
Nice.
And at the same time, randomly, my sister was moving here with her husband. So we all kind of came together.
Clicked together.
Yeah, not planned, but worked out well.
I see. Well, Boston Lane, been here several times. I love the space.
Thank you.
It's pretty unique. I don't want to use the word, but vibe.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to actually either, you can come with a date, you could come to do work. It's just a very nice space. Did you have to do anything with the design or hire a design company or?
Yeah, so we did the design ourselves with the help of my sister who owns George's of Dubai. She's also an interior designer. So
That's nice.
This is her magic work. I come from a background of branding, so and art direction. So we kind of collaborated on the project, and she did all the furniture and complete installation, light installation, and everything basically. So it was a bit of an empty space initially. There used to be a big fountain here. I can actually give you a photo of what it used to look like.
That
but
would be
it's
actually
very different.
amazing.
Yeah. So we transformed it into what we always thought it should be, just a little green oasis.
Yeah, it feels like it has this arabesque vibe to it, especially with the arcs. But at the same time, it's modern. And surprisingly, the space is small, but doesn't feel small.
Yeah.
Right? It feels
airy.
cozy.
Yeah.
I think it was a very good decision going with the very high ceilings.
Yes.
I remember walking in and I was because from outside it looks like a very, small space, and I walked in and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, it's got actually skylights. I think there's 2 or 3 skylights up there, so that helps as well. A bit of natural light.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, what about your customers? Who are you trying to attract here? Every shop has its own community.
Yeah.
So is there a community in mind you're trying to attract?
Do you know what? Not really, not specifically. It's just Dubai, and it's such a melting pot, as we all know. So we have just as many local Emirati customers as we do Western. That always changes month to month, year to year. Sometimes we have majority Emirati in.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we don't see them for a couple of weeks. So it's really interesting.
In my experience, it's Emiratis really like these places, especially when they're tucked away.
Yeah.
And you do serve a pretty good damn coffee, to be honest.
Thank you.
I'm a bit of a coffee snob
Yeah,
myself, so yeah, you're like, I remember even like the thing is, you find these places, right, and they serve their espresso or whatever, but like it's usually burnt, or you can taste the old beans, but no, your coffee is pretty great.
Yeah. I must say that was our biggest accomplishment, or our biggest goal, and what I think we've achieved is to have consistently really good coffee. Because coming from Melbourne, particularly, that's what we do. We do good coffee. So
that's good to know. What about? Tell me about your food menu. Any specific cuisines, or is it just the usual European?
Again, it's loosely based on that kind of Melbourne Australian, again, very crossed over melting pot of all different cuisines. We're influenced by Asia, European cuisine. So really it's just whatever we like to eat, we put on the menu.
Any specific menu item you would recommend people who visit here that they must try?
Yes, so we're famous for our toasties. Our cheese and garlic is our classic toasty, so that's what I would go with. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with our new menu, we're going to refine our toasties a little bit and change them up. We're keeping that one due to popular demand, but we've got some exciting things coming up, including some vegan and gluten-free options in the toasty range.
Well, that's pretty inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know more about you coming to Dubai. So, 4 years ago when you came here, it was your first time.
Yeah.
You went out of the airport. I believe you arrived at Dubai airport.
Yes.
So you stepped out of the airport, and what month did you come in? That's the most important question.
March.
Okay, thankfully.
Yeah.
And
so we came over. My sister didn't know exactly when we were coming, so with her husband we organised to surprise her at breakfast, and Michael said, meet us at Jones the Grocer, but didn't tell us which one. So we arrived straight from the airport with our bags at the wrong Jones the Grocer. And then we had to figure out how to get internet to get to the other one, and it was definitely a strange feeling, kind of going off a freeway into a cafe, and then we didn't know, there wasn't like, okay, go to the centre of town and we can figure out where we're going. It was just quick, where's the internet? Let's get on it. Exactly, yeah. So, but then we walked in and we saw them, and the people there at Jones the Grocer were very familiar looking, because as Australians we do a lot of travel, so it was a really nice place to kind of start our journey, I think. Yeah.
Why Boston Lane? What's the name?
Again, I can send you a photo, but the name actually came from a photo that happened to me in my background when I randomly decided to open a cafe, and it's of my husband Jono walking our Boston Terrier dog down a laneway in Melbourne, we did it every single morning before work, and we got our coffee and we did a walk, and just that really good coffee, what we call a magic back home, which is sort of a cortado or a
I think that's the most unique story for why did you name it. Like, I think I did like already 8 shops. Someone told me, I just thought about it, someone told me it doesn't mean anything, someone said it's catchy, but that's the first time someone...
Yeah, I think for me, Boston Lane is all about community and neighbourhood, and I know a lot of people say that, but I really mean it. It's just, all it is a really simple coffee bar that we do awesome food as well. But you can just come, you can work, you can go on a date, like you said, you can come with family, you can come with kids, whatever. We're just here and we just do awesome coffee. And that's what we do back home. Before work, we just went to our local coffee window, literally that's all it was. Got our coffee and went for a walk, and to get there we walked down a laneway. So
Boston Lane.
Yeah.
We're gonna do an episode about the collective, but just tell me a bit more about them.
Yeah.
You share the space with them.
Yeah. So the collective is run by Ripe, which is up here. And they do really great things for the community. They have a big park which kicks off in September, depending on the weather. Sorry, actually it's November. November, kicks off in November, depending on the weather. And they decided to open this space and lease it out to homegrown brands that are really passionate about what they do, and almost give those brands somewhere to set their roots without the crazy rental prices of a mall.
Yeah.
So they handpicked these individual concept stores that have evolved and changed over time, and particularly since we've been here. We came in, it's going to be 2 years in September. So not so long. I think they were open for a year and a half before we came. So it's, again, just trying to enhance what the talent that comes out of Dubai and give people a chance to showcase what they're doing. So, yeah.
So are you planning to stay here, or you want to go back to Australia, maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years down the line? Or?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely go back to Australia. We have a baby who is 11 months today. So by the time, he's in school, and depending if it's senior school or junior school, we want to be home. Just be with family, and it's really important to us to be around family, so that would be the main reason. But in terms of Boston Lane, we're definitely here, and our team is so awesome. We've really been so lucky with our guys behind the bar. So for them, we've got some really exciting things coming up. We've got a container at the Right Market that is a semi-permanent pop-up. So we'll be doing food and coffee there. That's at the Dubai Police Academy. That's all winter long. And then we also have our coffee van, which goes around to events and is available for private bookings. So they've really loved those two particular projects. It's really fun.
Those are, going to be really fun. What's the next step for Boston Lane? You have these two projects. If I told you right now, hey, listen, there's 0 obstacles, what would you want Boston Lane to be?
So as a concept and as a brand, it's important to us to be very modular in what we do. So that's why we've done the coffee van and the container, so that we can pick them up and take them to where people are. I think more and more there's a transitional period in Dubai at the moment where people are leaving and hopefully people are coming. So if I was to do another project, it would definitely be some kind of modular concept, installation, semi-permanent pop-up.
Well, where can people follow you on social media?
So we're on Instagram, bostonlane.dubai, and come in person. We also have a website, bostonlane.com, where our menu lies, and any inquiries for events or parties, which we can host here. It's a pretty big space, and we can always rearrange the tables and chairs, and you can pick any music you want. We're very flexible.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. We get requests all the time.
I listen to heavy metal.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it depends what time of day. Probably before the people come in for their morning coffees, it might be a bit intense.
All right. Thank you very much
Cool.
for your time. Well, we reached the end of the episode. You've seen the place, you've roughly seen what they serve. Their coffee is amazing, their toasties are to die for. Try to pass by here during the winter. Their outside sitting is absolutely beautiful, and even indoors they can open the skylights and it would be amazing. I can only imagine. The collective, you've seen bits and pieces of it. That will be covered in a future episodes, and probably coming in September or October, depending on their availability. If you've liked this, leave a like, share it with your loved ones, anyone who you think you would love this place, and don't forget to smile.